When we took over Lens back in October, we took over a team who were 17th in Ligue 1 and facing a relegation battle with just 9 points from, 11 games or something. Now, with just 2 games left of the season, we've secured, amazingly, Europa League football for next season. Amazing turnarounds, but if all goes well in today's episode, by the end of it, we could be in the Champions League. Hello and welcome back to Unemployed to Legends Club 3 episode 5 with RC Lens. My name is Craig and come up on today's episode we have the final 2 games of the Ligue 1 season against, bear with me, I'm trying to learn how to pronounce this team, Troyes, I think it's called. Is it? I used to think it was Troyes. I don't know, it's either Troyes or Troyes. Someone let me know if I may have the completely wrong club. And of course the home game at the end of the season against Marseille. Now, since you were last with me, of course that was the PSG game, wasn't it? And now a 2-1 defeat against PSG, and since then we've gone on an absolute tear, winning and drawing games, which has actually put us in a very, very good position in Ligue 1, of course, with those 2 games to go. In fact, that run has actually included some very impressive victories, including Monaco. We slapped them 4-1 at home, and the biggest victory of the lot, 6-1 away at Lyon. I just sat looking at the screen like, what is going on? Where was this team earlier this season? To go from this form at the beginning of the season before I arrived to doing this, amazing. Well, not this, but this. Absolutely amazing. Only PSG have really got the best of us in the last few months. Of course, we'll see how we do against a team who are, well, 2 teams actually, who are around us in the league, because if you look at the league table, we are currently sitting 4th. We are up against 2 teams who are also chasing Champions League football. Well, Marseille have already guaranteed the Champions League for next season. Okay, so I just quickly looked up on Google actually how to pronounce this team's name. It is actually Troyes. I mean, the English apparently pronounce it as Troyes, but the French apparently pronounce it as Troyes. So, you know, I'd like to go with the French pronunciation, so we're going to do that as much as possible for this episode. I actually thought it was another team that was pronounced Troyes, but apparently not. It would have been easier, obviously, if they weren't in the hunt for the Champions League as well. We only sit 1 point ahead of them, but a win today against Troyes will guarantee us top 4, and it will guarantee us that beautiful Champions League, or at least the 3rd qualifying round. 3rd place will get us the group stage, but it remains to be seen. We're either going to the Champions League or the Europa League, because we can't finish any lower than 6th, and that means at least £8.3 million in prize money, which is just as well because we are sitting in the red. Hopefully I'll be able to show more of the finances before the end of this episode. So this is going to be the 11 that we are going to be sending out. It's Dennis Simon in goal, a back 4, Vegas, Medina, Danso and Ferreira, with Vega at the base of the midfield, with Jorgensen and the returning Onana in midfield. Fernandez on the left wing, Openda and Girotti are the 2 main strikers up front. It's actually not even the full squad we've been using for this run of good form. Where is he? Carmine Varchetta. Trying to learn how to pronounce his name. It's either Carmine or Carmine. I assume it's Carmine as an Italian. But he is coming to the squad ever since that PSG game that we saw in the last episode. And he has been tearing it up. He's averaged a 7.26 on the average rating, and has finally bagged his first goal and first assist for the club. He has settled in well for a player who's £2 million. Quality signing. Decent League On player as well. He was Ligue 2. He has since been rapidly improving. He has only just come back from injury though, so we won't see him in this match. Hopefully we'll see him against Marseille. Rene Lopez, same situation. He's just coming back from injury. He'll be on the bench though, and he has actually been playing more games than I thought this season. He's only started 2 out of the 6 that he's actually played in the league, but a 7.1 average rating for £85,000. Absolutely mugged CD Honduras for him. I think we're going to have to go back to Central America for more players if we can, but I'm also aware we can't have more than 4 non-EU players. The players are pumped, according to the team talk, and we are about to get set in what will be Troyes' last home game at their stadium, apparently. They're moving to a new one next season. I mean, obviously, with graphics in FM, you can't actually tell the difference between a lot of the stadiums anyway. In other news as well, PSG already guaranteed the Ligue 1 title. They did that like 2 or 3 games ago because this league is stupidly uncompetitive against PSG. They've lost 1 game all season. Whoops, I forgot I was on sideline. No, not 2D. My graphics cards can actually handle 3D match engine for once. But this league is stupidly uncompetitive against PSG. They lost 1 game this season. That was against Monaco, as Openda has just nicked the ball here and he just blasts it all the way over. I was hoping he'd at least get it on target. I've noticed that with our strikers, they tend to blast the ball over. More often than not. They do score, but one-on-one, they're just not that good, and nobody marked this guy. Where was Ferreira? I know he's a wing-back, but he's going to be back for that one, at least. Danso with a header that's just over the bar. It's a bunch of half chances at the moment just to start this game. But what we're looking for in these 2 games is a couple of things, actually. One, see if we can get into the Champions League, of course. And number 2, just see if we... Well, that's not a great start, is it? Troyes, a win for them will obviously put them in pole position for the top 4. But also number 2, see who is good enough to be in this squad for next season. Obviously this summer, I would like to bring in a few more young players as well as increase the squad depth, because we've had about 26 players for the second half of this season, which is fine when you're just in Ligue 1. But when you're also in Europe at the same time, you need a bigger squad, because otherwise your players are just going to get tired, and these guys get tired very, very quickly, which is a bit of a shame. In fact, we're going to raise the tempo a little bit because we've actually not created that much. I say that, we've had 8 shots and 0 on target because for some reason they've just been very, very sloppy. Why are players running away from the attackers? This is a problem when I switch off the game and then switch it back on the next day. It's almost like a random number generator, isn't it? But 1-0 down at half time. Our shooting has not been good enough. No, it hasn't. We've had literally no shots on target. Vegas is injured, so Pedrosa is going to come on. He's barely played this season himself. Girotti has actually been terrible, so I'll tell you what. Openda will go as pressing forward, and Miguel Rodriguez is going to come in as a deep line forward. He has been very, very good as a deep line forward. He's had a great second half of the season, 7.31 on the average rating. And look at his form as a deep line forward. He's been bagging goals and assists just for fun. He's kind of come down recently, but in form, but hopefully he'll be able to pick it up again in these last 2 games if possible. Let's see what happens. What I have noticed is Troyes are getting a lot more of the ball compared to us. As Miguel Rodriguez, first time we're seeing him on the ball. Oh, for goodness sake, keep hold of it, guys. Thank goodness Rodriguez gets it back. There are a couple of players in the box, but Rodriguez is now one of them. Onana, over to Vega. Jorgensen, he can hit him long. Oh, come on, boys. Do better than that. What is going on? It's not quite the free-flowing football that we've been playing over the last several games. But there is Jorgensen. Oh, he should have put it across the goalkeeper, man. Not near post. He's not quite a natural striker. In fact, he's a Mazzala, isn't he? Shoot less often is already on. And Vega sweeps up the ball. Can we just keep the highlight going here? No, we can't. It's straight into the keeper's hands. But if Jorgensen had just put that across the goalkeeper, it would have been 1-1. And yet again, here comes Troyes. They are a very strong team, but we did beat them at home earlier this season. What is going on here? They're just carving... Oh my god, that's a penalty. What actually happened there? What was that for? That's ridiculous. I didn't even... Was that a nibble of the ankles or something? 2-0. Well, Champions League doesn't look likely, does it? Because we've got to go and play Marseille in the last game, and they are so far ahead of us, yet they're somehow not even that close to PSG, which actually baffles me a little bit. But yeah, 2-0 down. That's not great. That's not quite the form that I was seeing in the last 2 months or so. Junior Onana is not having a great game. None of them actually are having a good game. Ferreira's going to come off for Sam Curtis. Lopez is going to come off on for, what's his name, Steven Vega. And do you know what? We are just going to leave that last substitution for the final 10-15 minutes. Let's just see if we can actually just make it look a bit more respectable. But we've just not shown up today. It's almost like season's over for these guys. And they're just going home. Apparently that's it now. They're just going home, yeah. Nothing happens. When you make changes and nothing happens, that's when you know Football Manager just wants you to lose, or Football Manager's just said, yeah, we're just going to balance everything out now. It's a little bit annoying, but at the same time, we're in Europe next season. That's a season, for me, that's a season, like, what the hell, Openda? You stupid, stupid man. Luck's not in today, is it? Random number generator, that's what I put it down to. But yes, it's about a season ahead of schedule where we should be. Openda's going to be suspended for the final game. Congratulations, you stupid man. Right, 2-0. We're probably not going to get Champions League. Yeah, I'm not happy with your performance. That was disgusting. That was terrible. That leaves us down in 5th place. We're going to finish. Yeah, we're going to finish 5th or 6th realistically, unless Troyes literally mess up on the final day of the season. But we need, for God's sake, what is with the injuries? 2 weeks. That's him out for the season basically. Rene Lopez will be fine. Openda is banned for 1 game. How many? What's the ban actually for getting a straight red card? Is it just 1, or is it like the Premier League where it's 3? I feel like the Premier League is even harsher when it comes to suspensions. Where is it? Right, 2 things before we get into the final game of the season against Marseille. Firstly, I couldn't find on the match rules, or sorry, the league rules, if Openda was suspended for 3 games, basically like the English Premier League. But considering I've not actually received any more inbox messages, I'm going to assume it's only just this last match he'll miss and not carry over into next season. Secondly, we do still have an outside chance of getting into 4th place. I mean, it's unlikely, but we play obviously at home against Marseille, who are already guaranteed 2nd place. As for Troyes, who do they play? They have a away game against Brest, which they still have it all to play for actually, for getting 7th place, because they got to fight off Reims and OGC Nice, and maybe even Nantes. Although actually Nantes, they fell all the way down. They were in like the top 4 earlier this season. They've been in absolute freefall second half of this season. So they're away at Brest and we are home against Marseille. So outside chance maybe of top 4. We'll see how it goes anyway. But there have been a few changes, of course, to the starting 11. Pedrosa comes in at left back for the injured Sebastian Vegas. It's not a severe injury, but obviously this is the last game of the season. We'll see him next season. Varchesa comes in on his return from injury. He replaces Junior Onana, who drops to the bench, and Miguel Rodriguez is in for the, of course, suspended Lois Openda. Other than no, Curtis is not starting. He was going to start, but I decided to go with João Ferreira as the attacking wing back on that right hand side. We're still using that same role from the last episode, of course, where we have a wing back on attack on the right hand side of the pitch, and then we have a half-back who just drops in between our central defenders. Home form is important to us, as ever. I don't go for any of that team talk about we could secure Champions League today, because it never works. It hasn't for the last several FMs, and I'm not changing it now. So, form hasn't been particularly great recently. I mean, like I said in the last game, in fact, form hasn't been that great for Marseille either. It's like they've basically gone on holiday. If they could continue thinking that they're still on the beach today, that would be fantastic. We would love the 3 points against them. But of course, like I said in the last match, if you had offered me European football when I first took over Lens, I would have absolutely taken it. To be at least in the Europa League. Maybe having a shout of Champions League. There's certainly more than I actually thought we'd be able to do this season. Right, we've got the ball for once, and I have actually swapped the view back to sideline because I feel I get more out of seeing this view, certainly from a tactical perspective, than if I was just viewing it from TV. In the last match, it actually felt weird me looking at TV, so I might go with sideline going forward because I can actually see better what is actually happening from a bird's eye point of view. Let me know which view you may prefer, or if you have zero preference for which view I'm actually going for. How are Troyes looking at the moment? Where are they? Oh, there they are. They're away, aren't they? 0-0 at half-time, both games. So it's been all us in this game against Marseille. It feels like Marseille are just on the beach at the moment. Yeah, the scoreline doesn't reflect that we look a little bit better. I mean, it's only 0.69 on the XG, but we should be at least 1-0 up. We had that one highlight, of course, Girotti shooting over, of course, as Marseille get forward here. Oh, come on, don't start this again, game. That was a legitimate tackle, and you're just going to give them a penalty. This is the game just balancing itself out. I think that's the first time I've seen that. No penalty. I take everything back. I take it all back, game. I take it all back. I'm so sorry. Right. I was about to do encourage, but we're the ones with the ball here at the moment, so let's just leave it. Oh, Rodriguez is through here. Very well done. Plays over to Jolson Fernandez. Fernandez shoots. He scores. It is 11th goal of the season. I take everything back. Let's calm it down. I take everything back, game. Breathe. Whew. Now, what's the Troyes game saying at the moment? We're 1-0 up at the moment. Jolson Fernandez cutting inside, as he loves to do, and he's very good at shooting. From when he cuts in from that left-hand side, he has been a fantastic winger. Troyes are still drawing at the moment, so it's coming down to goal difference, is it? I need to see the league table, what the goal difference is actually saying. That's something I didn't look at before we started this game. I know we're positive, like 8, something like that, but what a Troyes. Varchetta, Jorgensen into Rodriguez. Oh, it's into Jolson Fernandez. He cuts in. Girotti blocked. Right, hang on. Let me pause it for a moment. What are we saying? We are... Oh no, our goal difference is like 23 at the moment. I thought it's still 8. Troyes is 12, of course. And they're 1-0 down against Brest. Oh my god. Right. Jean Ferreira is knackered and he's on a yellow card as well. We're not risking that. Ferreira's going to come off for Sam Curtis. We're going to leave that for the moment. We have 20 minutes to go. Right, we have under 7 minutes of normal time. We have got a lot of players tired. Onana is going to come on, as is Rene. Lopez, Varchetta and Vega are going to make way respectively. Defensively, Bartelson is going to come on for Kevin Danso. Kevin Danso is just knackered. Pedrosa's not having a great game, but I would rather him than Ganu on at the moment. Oh, come on, boys. Come on. We are very, very close. We are going to start wasting the time down a little bit. I think we have one substitute left. We've got 3 minutes of injury time. We have one substitute left. And it is going to be Adley who's going to come on. I'd rather just strengthen up that midfield. The attack is going to be knackered. Not interested in that at the moment. Not interested. We are just a minute away from potential Champions League football by goal difference because Troyes are losing to Brest. And we have, I think we've secured top 4. Good XG, by the way, 2.23. We should probably have made that a bit more comfortable. Don't care. We got the win. That was a good win for us. Let's have a look at the league table. Come on. Show me the confirmation. Oh, by a point. It wasn't by goal difference, it was by a point. By the way, poor Nantes. 5-1 slapping at the hands of PSG and they finished 12th. They were in the top 4 earlier this season. I do feel for them. At the same time, I don't feel sorry for them. That is it. We have qualified for the Champions League. 3rd qualifying rounds. But we're still in the Champions League. And that is fantastic news. That is money. We receive £11 million. This is a world apart from Scottish Premiership. Let's be honest. If the Scottish Premiership, what's the highest prize money? About 3 million? Yep, I'm loving the top 5 leagues for prize money. What's the budget saying? Give me good budgets. It's because we haven't had the Champions League money yet, has it? The money hasn't come in yet. It's okay. Champions League money hopefully will be coming in next season. We just got to get into the group stages proper. But hopefully, yeah, that's probably why, because we're not even £1 million in the black. We were about nearly £10 million in debt, but obviously £11 million prize money. We're okay. Some sales will probably go on this summer, and hopefully we'll be able to get some more good young players in, as our wage budget has actually gone up a little bit more. That's fantastic. Right, end of the season. We're going to come back for the next episode. It will be transfers, of course, but that's a fantastic end to the season. Whew, what a second half of the season. We turned that around massively, and it was all helped by the young players we brought in earlier this season. Should have done this at Dundee United. Really should have just done this at Dundee United, but it's all good. We go with Lens. Champions League is in the summer, the qualifying rounds at least. Transfers next episode. We'll also go through the season review, and we're going to see who's going to be coming in, who is going to be leaving as well. If you have enjoyed this episode, and how could you not, Champions League football is secured, qualifying rounds at least. And then make sure that you hit the like button down below and smash the big red subscribe button if I can remember what to say. Thank you all so much for your support on the series so far. It's still a lot of fun, especially when, you know, moments like this happen in different countries, of which I have never played Football Manager in before. Thank you all for your support on the series so far, and look forward to seeing you all in the next episode for transfers.